Hello, I'm Betty Hutzel, a Mount Healthy resident and a member of the Mount Healthy Historical Society. Quite a while ago, approximately the late 30s or the early 40s, my father had to get a part for my mother's stove. So he went up to Hunt Hardware store in Mount Healthy. And while he was there, he met Mr. McCudden, who was a partner in Huber and McCudden Real Estate. And during the conversation with all the other people there, Mr. McCudden said, Sam, I think I've got a house that you might be interested in. So they ended up going over to 7856 Perry Street here in Mount Healthy, and they looked at the house and then went back to the hardware store and talked it over. My father decided, yeah, he thinks he'd like to buy the house. And so he said, but he doesn't have any checks with him. So they decided to take a brown bag from Hunt's, and my dad wrote a check out for his down payment on the house. Monday morning, they took the check to the bank. And of course, Clyde Yerkes, who knew my dad, said, oh sure, and he cashed the check. So my father had the down payment on the house. Well, it was a small house, so he decided to rent it out. And he had it rented for a while. I don't remember exactly how long, but during the course of time, the tenant poured bacon grease and coffee grounds down the drain, and it created quite a problem. So I think Dad got a little disgusted, and the tenants moved out, so he decided to remodel the house. While he was remodeling, it turned into a bigger project, and he ended up gutting it. And when he did, he tore out a hutch that was built in the corner, and the upper part was just plastered over. And when he broke through there, he found two of the Harper's Weekly magazines, bound, or sort of bound, in a book volume. This one is 1863, during the Civil War, and I believe the other one was 1862. We thought we had something pretty great and thoroughly enjoyed looking through it, from the articles and the different things that were written about the war, as well as the advertisements for bustles and things like that. We had it quite a while. I can remember taking one book to school to show it. And when we thought we had the house finished, we decided to put the concrete stoop on the front of the house because it sat pretty close to the street. It was late when we got towards the finishing end of fresh concrete. So we used the headlights from my father's car, and when we got done, he had a dead battery. So I had to go home, he had to go home and bring another car and tow the dead battery car, which I got to steer. So at 12, I got to drive the car through Mount Healthy, even though the motor wasn't running. We've decided that these books aren't doing us any good in our house. So my husband and I decided to give them to the museum. The Mount Healthy Museum has kept one, and the other one went to the Civil War Museum over in northern Kentucky. I think that's it
for that one, and now you get to talk about the Blue Book. So,
a few months ago, my husband passed away, and now I am going through his hundreds and hundreds of books that he has acquired. Some of them, my husband Dennis passed away. And I'm going through his books and donating a lot of them to the Friends of the Library. But I ran across this book, which I thought was so appropriate for this time, and it's a history with a lot of different pictures of the different hospitals and prisons that were in existence during the Civil War. And some of the places are quite well known, Andersonville and places like that. The hospitals were just simply tents here and there. And there's so many things that I think would be interesting. So we're going to put this book in the display case with the other things so that you can see them during the Mount Healthy celebration days. Come in the museum and enjoy yourself looking around.
Thank you very much, Betty.
I'm glad to do it. Here's the display of the books. This is a 1911 book about the prisons and hospitals. And these are the two sections of the 1863 Civil War newspaper.